Hi, and welcome to Terry Talks Movies. This time around it's going to be a haul. I've got a whole bunch of different stuff from 4Ks to DVDs, and right at the end of the video I'm going to show you the one I'm going to put away so that nobody can ever watch it. I haven't bought a lot of movies lately that at retail price, at least, because we've been paying off Luna's medical bills and things like that. So I've kind of been good in one sense. Bad in the sense of a collector, but good in the sense of being slightly responsible. But I have done a whole bunch of pickups for $1, $2, $3, which surprised me, some of the things I was able to get while doing that, and probably better get started. I'll start with the stuff I got cheaply secondhand, and then we'll go into the Blu-rays I got at retail price or at a discount but new. And then I'll go into the 4Ks, and then I'll go into the DVDs. So let's get started with an odd little piece of vampire cinema from about 10-15 years ago. Dracula Untold with Luke Evans in it. It's not fantastic, but it does have some quite striking imagery in it. And this is one of the ones I picked up for $1 at a thrift store. I'll probably want to do a video about modern Dracula movies at some stage, and this would be research for that kind of a video. Let me know if you want me to do it. Then after the debacle that was Rebel Moon, I thought I'd get a Zack Snyder one, and again I got this one for $2. Didn't have it in the collection. It's kind of iconic in a weird way. It's very meme heavy, and it's got a very striking look. $300. Picked that up on Blu-ray. This is for some reason an English Blu-ray of it, which turned up in Australia for some reason, even though I do know it was released on Blu-ray here in Australia. There are a few extras in it, but I'm not going to go through them. $2, I'm going to pick that up, and I'll probably watch it at some stage, if only for the chiseled abs. And then I've got a forgotten sword and sorcery movie, which wasn't fantastic, but does parallel itself with some very iconic sword and sorcery from the latter quarter of the 20th century. This one's got Jason Momoa in it before he became Aquaman. It's a 3D movie, though it does play on 2D players. I don't have a 3D player. Conan with Momoa with no facial hair, trying to look a little bit like George Clooney there for some reason. They must have photoshopped a hell of a lot of him to get that look. But I thought I'd give that one a go. Again, it's forgotten. I know I've seen it, but I don't recall anything about it apart from the fact that it is Conan the Barbarian, the Robert E. Howard thing. There is a little documentary attached to that as a featurette about Robert E. Howard, which I'd be interested in seeing. That one was $2, so I'm going to give it a go for $2 and watch it at some stage, and compare and contrast it with the Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan and just see how badly it falls behind John Milius's writing effort. This one I got for one of the movies. There are 3 movies in here on 3 discs, and I got it for one. Now, I'm not always a fan of this actor who stars in these 3 movies, but I thought I'd get it. It's The Aviator, Blood Diamonds, and Body of Lies. Now, I got it for The Aviator, which I don't have a copy of, but I wanted to see it. It's a Scorsese movie that I haven't seen, so I thought I'd get it for that. It's also about old Hollywood, so I wanted to check it out for that reason and give it a go. But again, I don't have particular high hopes, but I haven't seen it and I do want to see it. Next up, I've got the second in a 3-movie trilogy. I've got the third one, but I don't have the first one, so I picked up the second one, which I also didn't have, for $1 at my local trash and treasure market in the little interstitial place that sells me Blu-rays for $1. And it is Harold and Kumar Go to Escape from Guantanamo Bay, which I like a lot. It's a bit of fun. It's very much a Bush Jr. era political satire, amongst other things. And I enjoy these movies more than I should. They're stoner comedies, but they are kind-hearted. So picking up Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, which was fun. And then after I did, I saw about 5 or 6 other ones in various stores. So they're very popular to give away to charities for some reason. But it was worth doing. Now, these ones are sequels, but I've got the first movie on Blu-ray already. And they're a bit of fun action things with Mila Jovovich. I've got Resident Evil Retribution. Again, I picked that one up for $1 with Mila Jovovich shooting things. The special effects on these, particularly the computer-generated ones, are somewhere between woeful and what the hell. But I'm kind of okay with that. I don't mind that at all. And they're okay when I want to watch meathead action films. And then, of course, I got Resident Evil Extinction, which I think is a later one. And it does have some striking graphics. Part of it's set in a post-apocalyptic Las Vegas. Yeah, I'm going to watch those when I'm in the mood for it. They're the kind of movies that you're going to watch with a packet of beef jerky and a beer. I don't mind them at all. There are times when I want to watch those kinds of movies, particularly when I watch something very heavy and very worthwhile, and then I want to kind of go into something light. Those kind of movies are going to sit in the machine and just spin around and entertain me. This one I'm surprised I didn't have. It's a Kubrick movie, and I've got pretty much okay on Kubrick movies. I've got a lot of them. Don't have all of them, but I've got a pretty good collection of Kubrick movies, but I didn't have this one. I checked my database on my phone before I bought it. Again, it was $1 for a copy of Full Metal Jacket on Blu-ray, which I'm glad I got a copy of. I've seen it once on VHS, but I haven't seen it for a very long time, and it's probably time I revisited it. This was, of course, Vincent D'Onofrio's first big role in this one, and I'm looking forward to revisiting that one based on what I know of D'Onofrio's subsequent career as an actor and how great he's been in everything that I've seen him in. And I bought some new Blu-rays. There were some deals going on. I also got one of these from Amazon, it was, and I paid a little bit more than I should have for it. I've already talked about it on the channel recently and had a great time watching it. Tokyo Gore Police, which is like crazy. The blurb says, quite possibly the goriest, craziest, most eye-blowing, chunk-spewing, head-exploding science fiction movie of all time. I can see how the hyperbole is a little bit over the top, but it's not entirely inaccurate. And Tokyo Gore Police, if you haven't seen it, is well worth checking out. It's a lot of fun. It is full of splatterpunk violence, and it's highly entertaining. This one I got from middle-aged geek girl Sally, because she is big on shark movies. You put her down in front of a shark movie and she's a happy camper for 2 hours. This one I know nothing about. It's called Great White, and that image of a woman shooting a flare gun underwater into the mouth of a great white shark is something special. I'm going to watch it just for that. I don't know whether it's any good or not, and it's very hard to tell with these, but it's going to be worth at least putting in the machine, spinning through once. I got that one as a part of a 20% off deal at JB Hi-Fi, along with this one, because I've got all the other movies. I'm going to do a big, long video at some stage about this movie series, and this is the one I didn't have. Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw, with Dwayne Johnson. It's got Statham in it. It's got Idris Elba. It's got cars. It's got explosions. It's got pew pew and all that kind of thing. Going to go through the series and watch them all, and I'm going to watch this one as well. Meathead action films again, and maybe that's the theme for part of 2024. Me watching meathead action films and just gropping them. That brings me to my 2 4Ks that I got, and these ones I got for 2 for $40, and then they were 20% off. So I got them each for about $8 each, 8 or 10. Got for about $16 each, which isn't very much. This one is because I'm being a completist with Marvel and DC superhero movies whenever I can. Black Adam. And the reason I got this one is I kind of like Pierce Brosnan playing Dr. Fate in this. It's not a great movie. This is a 2-disc version, one with the it's got the 4K, and I think it's got a Blu-ray version as well. Yeah, meathead action film. It's one of those things that's a cautionary tale, kind of like the Tom Cruise Mummy movie, where you don't give the star a lot of power in a franchise movie, because the star will inevitably steer the movie towards themselves and ruin it in the process. It's a very much a cautionary tale on that, and Dwayne Johnson did that with Black Adam. I mean, there were possibilities in this movie which were unrealized, and it might have worked had the star not taken things over and turned it into the equivalent of a mirror in a Budgerigars cage. May well do a video about cautionary tales in cinema. I think that might be a good idea. I just came up with that one. But again, the other one I got is a classic of cinema, which I didn't have a copy of. George Cukor's My Fair Lady. Picked that one up as well. It's got HDR, so all the HDR fanboys are not going to complain about me getting this one. I had a lot of arguments on social media about people who go, all 4Ks have to have HDR. And I kind of made the point that the important thing is first the movie, and whether it's got HDR or not, and whether it's got all sorts of bells and whistles and wonderfulnesses, is secondary to the story and to the movie and to the acting and to the writing and to the direction and all the other stuff about the movie. The format comes way down the list for me. Up there is the movie itself. Some people were very unhappy with that, and I'm not unhappy that they were unhappy. So that then brings me to the DVDs I got, and I got all of these secondhand because nobody is really, in most cases, selling new things on DVD unless they're very niche movies that really wouldn't get any profit were they put out on Blu-ray. But this one, I don't remember anything about. It stars Marguerite Chapman, Douglas Kennedy, and directed by Edward G. Ulmer, The Amazing Transparent Man. I know I've seen it, but I don't remember nothing about it. I'll probably do it for a science fiction Saturday at some stage. I can't remember anything about it. It's one of those ones that slid off my mind, along with a whole bunch of other black and white, low-budget science fiction movies of the 1950s. But I'm going to check that one out, put it together with something else to do a double feature for Science Fiction Saturday. The next one is kind of interesting. Again, it's got D'Onofrio in it. Jennifer Lopez, Vince Vaughn, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Very striking movie. Who directed it? Tarsum Singh. The Cell. I remember seeing this. $2 this one at an op shop. So I'm going to give it a go. It's a special director's cut, which means it's longer than the original version. And I think this might play for a Science Fiction Saturday as well. A few of these turn up in op shops at the moment. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a very striking visual movie. I've seen it. But I really want to reevaluate it and just see whether it stands up a couple of decades after it was made. Let's see. Next one's an Australian film with a female director. And it kind of slipped off my radar. It's about Harry Houdini. And it's a movie called Death Defying Acts, which has Catherine Zeta-Jones and Guy Pearce playing Harry Houdini. Directed by Gillian Armstrong. Never got a Blu-ray release here in Australia. It did get this one on DVD from Dendy Cinema. I'm going to watch this one. Hopefully I'll enjoy it. Gillian Armstrong's a really interesting director. And of course I want to support local directors, even if I'm buying their product secondhand from a junk store. But Death Defying Acts going to go in cold, apart from the fact that it has a character who is Harry Houdini, played by Guy Pearce. A very underrated actor. But I'm looking forward to watching that one and just seeing where it goes. And again, I've got another action series starring a female actor. In this case, it's Kate Beckinsale, Underworld. Picked that one up for $1.99 at Savers. Yeah, pew action, vampires versus werewolves, all the usual stuff. See how it goes. Rewatching it, it may be good, may be bad, who knows. But until I watch it, I won't. I then got Underworld Rise of the Lycans, which is the sequel to that. Again for $1.99 at the same op shop Savers. Yeah, I'm going to watch these. I'll probably watch the whole trilogy and just evaluate them at some stage, maybe put them into a video, who knows. A lot of this stuff I'm buying not because I particularly want it, but because I think it might make a good video. And of course I've got the third one, Underworld Evolution, which again $2 at Savers. All three of them were sitting together, so I thought I'd pick them up. $6 all up. Not a bad. It's got strong sex scenes, so at least it'll be entertaining from one point of view. Underworld Evolution. Watch that, see how it goes. Another series, I've got the first one, and I actually did a haul with the first one of these movies. But I didn't have the second and third ones, so I found them for $1 each, which is not a bad thing. Blade 2 with Wesley Snipes as Blade. I should put it so that it will focus on Wesley, not me. It says it's more enjoyable than the original. I don't know about that, but I may well watch the trilogy and just evaluate them at some stage. And then I've got the car wreck that is Blade Trinity, with Ryan Reynolds in it as well. This is the one where Wesley really couldn't give a toss, and her body double turns up for part of it. This one looks like it may be a German pressing of it, which is a little bit unusual for an Australian market. But got that. I've got a lot of series here of action films that I can do videos about. So when I'm worrying about what I'm going to do for a video, and when I'm going, what am I going to do for the next video, I've got these ones sitting there going, do this trilogy and just evaluate it and review it. This one is a Burt Reynolds movie I didn't have a copy of. I remember that Umbrella put out the box of Burt last year, which went over really well. It is still for sale on the Umbrella website, but this one wasn't in it. And it's got good provenance. It's based on an Elmore Leonard novel, Stick, with Burt Reynolds. Who else is in this? Can't read. George Segal's in it. Yeah, a kind of good, honest, old Burt Reynolds movie. It's in the right aspect ratio, but it's from Flashback Entertainment, which means it may not be the best quality copy. So until I can get a better one, I've got that. And the last of the DVDs I got is a Clint Eastwood movie from the 80s, which I paid $2 for. Music's by Maurice Jarre, produced and directed by Clint Eastwood. Firefox, about warplanes and about Clint Eastwood going up against a robot warplane. A little bit like Stealth, but only earlier. And Clint having a fairly good head of hair at that stage. Lots of extras on this one. There's a making of documentary and Eastwood film highlights, all sorts of other bits and pieces. But we'll see how we go with that. I don't know how it's going to play to a modern audience, being me, but we will see how it goes. So that's kind of it, except for the ones I'm not going to watch and I'm not going to let anybody else watch. A while back, I did a video about getting a couple of Laserdisc movies, a couple of movies on Laserdisc is what I was trying to say. And how I'm really not going to watch them and not going to let anybody else watch them. And I bought them partly to get them off the market, because there are going to be people who will watch them and try to excuse some of the problematic aspects of these films. There is the Laserdisc I've got of it. Jolson and Jolson Sings Again, of course, with Larry Parks, which has blackface in it. And I was wandering around Mitcham and found an op shop. There's the two movies on DVD. Both movies are on the same DVD, so I'm not sure about the quality of them. But I thought I'd get that one off the market too. If it wasn't for the blackface stuff, which of course is accurate to the time and accurate to any narrative about Al Jolson, but it still stinks and it still doesn't play well to a modern audience. So I got it to get it off the market, which is kind of messed up, and I fully admit that. And I agree that Larry Parks did a great job playing Al Jolson, and Evelyn Keyes, I think, was playing his wife. I'm not sure. She was. And it goes into it's very much a hagiography. It's very much hero worshipping Al Jolson. Al Jolson himself turns up in the first movie, but I'm not going to watch it. I think there are so many other movies that I'd rather watch than those two, but I don't want them to be out there with apologists for blackface watching them. So I got them off the market, and I'm kind of quarantining them from the human race as much as I can. As I said, it may be messed up to some people, but that's what I'm doing. So there's my haul at the moment. Really enjoyed hunting these things down, even the Jolson story. But it's amazing how much good stuff is slowly coming out, secondhand particularly, and how much stuff from overseas is being sold on the secondhand market. English pressings and German pressings of movies and things like that. I didn't spend a lot of money on this whole lot. I mean, I'd be surprised if I spent $60 on a lot of them. I really want to watch those action films and just enjoy them and the silliness of them. But there are also some quality films in there that I think I'll enjoy as well. So that's it for this time around. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Look at some of the playlists on the channel. There are a lot of genre-specific playlists on the channel, and you may well find a whole bunch of stuff that you might enjoy there. You can also support the channel by becoming a channel member or donating at the channel on YouTube, or by becoming a patron at patreon.com/TerryTalksMovies. Next up, I've got a few things in line for the middle of the week video. Hopefully Luna will have her cone of shame off, and I'll get a little bit of footage of her running around free and healed from her gutting and her injuries that have gone on now for 5 weeks. And I'm looking forward to shooting that video. But until then, watch some good movies, watch some bad movies, watch some cheap movies, watch some retail movies, and I'll catch you next time.